Hey everyone, it's me Alex once again, and today I'm bringing you the sequel to Crash Bandicoot. That being Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back. One of the best sequels to ever grace us in gaming. Now the story starts right where Crash 1 left off, but this time we see Cortex falling pretty much right after we beat him into a temple of some kind where he finds crystals, which he is quite excited about, but they are never established as to what they are, so we don't know exactly how powerful these crystals are, at least yet. 1 year later, Cortex's minion Engine, a new character, that points out that there are no more allies left on Earth for them to, conquer it. So Cortex drops that he's going to recruit an enemy. That leads us to Crash hanging out with Coco, who is brand new to this one in the original story. The time travel thing doesn't count. And we have no Tana, who legit dumped you for Pinstripe. I don't know why, but Naughty Dog decided to go that route for some reason. You need to retrieve a battery for Coco's laptop. Easy enough. You get to play as Crash now, and he feels much better in this than he did in Crash 1. He has proper analog movement, whereas in Crash 1, even with the stick, you still only had 8 directions. It felt very clunky in comparison. Soon after you're going through the level, you will be pulled into a warp room, and oh boy, that's where the fun begins. You'll be contacted by Cortex that the world is going to be destroyed unless Crash gets him the crystals. Which isn't a hard thing. Just follow the path and it'll be, standing out to grab. Very easy. Well actually, I don't feel like it. Screw you, Cortex. I'm gonna go beat the damn level without grabbing it. And miss one damn box. This won't be the last time.
No, Crash. I said bring me the crystals. Now, get back in there.
Okay, fine. I'll get it this time. No, let's get the gem.
Look up at the doorways. There is a big crystal-shaped slot. Fill all 5 crystal slots in this warp room by retrieving 1 crystal from each of the 5 areas. Only after we have filled all of the slots in this room can we continue on our quest. This is the last time I remind you.
Alright, fine. Let's continue. Once you collect a gem, Embryo will appear before you and tell you not to trust Cortex and to collect the gems if saving the world is our goal. Then we need to get the gems, not the crystals. Okay, yeah. So it seems Brio and Cortex are enemies now, but Crash 4, they're working together? What? Let's not question that. Coco will also chime in to point out the obvious to us that Cortex is bad, don't gather the crystals, he's doing a secret evil plot. It's, for us, it's redundant, but for Crash, who's stupid, it kind of makes sense. But getting the crystals, honestly, is our only way out. So from here, the story kind of takes a back seat, other than Cortex saying, "Well done, Crash, you got more crystals, hooray," or "You beat this enemy, whoop-de-doo." Because you go through 5 levels, and then a boss, and repeat until the end. Then into the hub room. So usually each level has its own trope. You'll run to 2 and possibly 3 times in terms of level tropes. Turtle Woods is basically the jungle aesthetic of the game, which has a few variants. You'll go in while it's raining, then it'll be sunset, and then it'll be dark, which are, funny enough, the easiest versions of the levels for me. For the first time, we have snow levels, which are honestly okay, not great, mostly because of the ice, and there is 1 gem requirement, or 2, I should say, that I absolutely hate for these 2 levels. But these levels do look great overall. There's also water levels that take what they did in Crash 1 and just make it way faster with crazier music in comparison to Crash 1 especially. It's a lot more calm in Crash 1. Not only that, but you get a jet board that controls fairly well. I don't have any issues with this edition. I'd rather be platforming, but if I have to use it, I will. You can boost forward to make jumps to get boxes and to help you get by whirlpools. Instant death if you're caught in it, by the way. Now onto the pits. This level annoyed the crap out of me due to having to go down one path, then go back and take another path to get all the boxes. And doing this is very much a pain in the ass, due to the camera being so god-awful. Being too close to you can't see what you're doing. It's not like it's a boulder level where the camera is zoomed back. It's not like that at all in this. So the last level in Tier 1 is Crash Dash, which brings back the boulder levels, as I just mentioned. And in these, you can move much faster if you spam the slide spin. And, yeah, it's pretty good. It won't let you, stop in place after doing a normal slide. So you don't have to slide jump either. You actually keep your momentum. Definitely an easy way to give you some distance from that boulder. While we're here, let's discuss the bonus stages. The first kind are the classic style with the box counter at the top, and it says bonus on the screen. While in the other bonus level style, it acts just like another area or sub-level. At least it's a sub-level when it comes to alternate routes to get colored gems? The nice thing about these bonus stages is that they all take place in the theme of the level itself with its own remix for them too. So that's really cool. Though these stop being fun by Tier 5, I'd say. That's when they get a little ridiculous. Well, in the original, you went up and had, after you beat the first 5 levels, you can go fight the boss. Which in this version, he has his own portal. While in the original, you went up to the pad in the middle of the room and you just would go up. This makes more sense, honestly, having a portal instead of having to go into the middle of the room and going up. So going in, we see Ripperoo has done some redecorating and is in a different area of his waterfall, I think. Or he just added more columns, who knows. He even has a top hat and a walking stick, which he bounces on. Anyway, he's easy to avoid. Just watch out when he's dropping TNT down, and then he will blow it up, knocking his hat off and showing a wig, which I don't understand. And the joke of him is having it because after you beat him, it's gone. But he also will drop nitro once he gets his hat hit off from the TNT, and that's when you want to run in and hit him. Him 3 times. Just like that. It's super easy. Now we proceed to Tier 2. As you enter Tier 2, Cortex will contact you saying you need 20 more crystals to stop the planet from being ripped apart. It could be a different point in the story, I don't know, that doesn't matter. Because from the alignment of the 13 planets, this would cause some kind of catastrophic chaos. Wait, hold on. 13 planets? What timeline is this in? Regardless, you resume to the game with going to the next level, which is one I've covered in terms of the theme, so there's really not much to add to this level other than a slippery floor here and there in the snow level, and a side-scrolling part, which, honestly, I'm not a fan of the snow stages, because ice physics and just the design of these levels, it's just kind of meh to me, and they're not bad, just passable. Next we have another water level, but this time we're going to go off the beaten path and make it right over here. And boom, a 6th warp room. This is the ruins of Cortex's castle. In the original, you can see the islands back in the distance, but not anymore, sadly. This area serves as alternate paths to levels you played, and a few original levels too. Next, our new level trope is the polar bear stages. Even though they're not new, it's the hog levels from Crash 1, but just much faster, and the controls are much, much better. You can actually turn with this guy, and speed up to make huge jumps. They're not super hard, but if you came to this game straight from the original, the animation of the bear will screw with you due to more frames of animation, because it did for me. There's 3 of these kind of stages. One during the day, evening, and night, which was a nightmare at night in the original, but the better lighting makes this easy for me, anyway. The Eel Deal is next on the list of new level tropes, and it's a sewer level. My favorite. Though, to be honest, these levels aren't that bad, at all. You just need patience and timing to get past the electric water and enemies going through the tubes, or just in them in general. This is also where the game really tests you. Like, should I go over there at the end with all those nitro boxes? If there are boxes around them, then there must be something behind there. So, let's go check it out. And you go by, and you'll be finding a gem. Also, when it comes to these boxes, you can find a green crate with an exclamation point on it, and it'll detonate the nitro, which is needed for getting the gems, since they count as boxes too. Even though getting to the back of these nitro is a bit tricky, you will be rewarded with a bit more, with a level, and again, as I said, a green gem, which, yes, they're back, and the way you get them are through special platforming challenges in the levels they're in. So to get them, or say the red gem, that will be in tier 1, that you could see it, but you can't get it until a later tier. Backtracking is kind of prevalent here, I'd say, but not terrible. Like, you don't have to do much to backtrack. After tier 2 is done, you fight the Komodo Bros, who are super easy. You just wait for one to stop spinning, spin him into the big boy, and he will pathetically attempt to throw scimitars at you. If you're in a good position, you will be absolutely fine. It won't be a big issue unless you're an idiot, though, like me, and walk right into one of his parked scimitars. The start of tier 3 gives us a bit of what we've seen already, but a new level trope which I'd consider temple levels, like the ones from Crash 1 where you're outside. These are more in depth in terms of exploring through the ruins. Well, on top of them, but you see a lot more of the ruins here than you'd expect. But these levels give you a sense of depth with how the levels were laid out. It's hard to explain what I mean by that, how these stages feel like locations rather than something you run through like most of the other stages. But yeah, that's how I kind of see that. Another boulder level, but this time you're being chased by a giant damn bear. Like, holy crap. He was much more terrifying in the original, not so much in this though, which is unfortunate, but I guess not everyone transitions to HD the same. Keep outrunning the bear, and eventually he'll fucking die. Rip, big bear. I will not forget you. Next I went into Polar Bear Chase, and things were going okay. Just normal stuff. Then at the end, you take control of Polar and frickin' dart towards the camera. It's pretty cool. And then I met my worst fear. A few boxes missing. This happened a few times here and nearly every time in Crash 4, but that's not the time for that. We'll end off Tier 3 with a pretty easy boss. Honestly, they've all been pretty easy so far. We meet a new mainstay, Tiny Tiger. He's big and dumb. There's not much more to him than that in this game. Even in future installments, actually. He'll follow you around as you hop around on other platforms. Just lead him to one that's about to fall, and he'll get hurt. Very easy. Do it a few more times, and watch for the platforms falling, especially at the end, because there's only like one left, and you have to get on it. I like how it tips Tiny off the platform like, ew, a dead baddie. Thus, that ends Tier 3. Not much new, but an okay tier. I did miss out on many levels, but I don't want to repeat myself with not much to say unless it's radically different. With the start of Tier 4, we have Hanging Out, which is another sewer level, but it focuses on climbing on grates above you and avoiding enemies. It's not hard if you're patient, and also can book it when you need to. There's a variant of this level where you need to pull your legs up constantly to avoid lower enemies, and that's not fun, I'll tell you that. This level also brings us to the 6th warp room, and this is the final type of jungle stage that we're going to be looking at, with it being pitch black. You'll be using a firefly to guide you through the darkness, and if you don't book it, the firefly will go away, and you're stuck in the dark. I guess these are an evolved idea from the dark levels in Crash 1, and these are much better in my opinion. Now for the infamous Cold Hard Crash. This level is a piece of garbage. It starts out fine, but if you want to get the box gem, you need to first get to a thing called a death route, which you get to appear if you don't die once upon getting it. And this will take you to a section that's 99% ice. You will get some boxes on the way, but you're mostly dodging enemies and nitros. The nitros are criminally close, and I hate it. Once you do reach the end, you can easily fall and get the death route gem. Then you have to die, so you can go back and get that gem. So, first you die, you go all the way to the end of the death route again, and this time, you'll hit a metal crate, then go all the way back, and you'll see at this point, there's a metal crate setup thing. It looks like it's giving you the middle finger. It's like they said, fuck you. Get screwed with this part of the level. I'm not kidding you. That's what it really feels like it. So, at this point, if you get the Aku mask, the pity one, I don't blame you. I got eventually on this run. But yeah, make your way back through the level on this part to the platform and hope you make it through the rest of the area and hit a checkpoint. Otherwise, you're doing that all over again. This level is bullshit to the max. Now at this point, we are told by Cortex to give the crystals to Engine. But we decide to go up there and throw Wumpa Fruit at him until somehow it blows up his machine. Bit by bit, that is. And eventually you'll blow the whole damn thing up. He's pretty much the hardest boss in this game, which isn't saying much, but I guess it's a thing. After beating Engine, you're in the final tier of the game, with the hardest levels, except Cold Hard Crash. That should have been here. Cortex calls you being pissed at what you've done. He says to get the remaining crystals, and at this point Crash knows, I think that Cortex is up to no good, so I guess getting the last 5 crystals is a good way to prevent him from getting them. So we start with pissing it away, which I love some of these level trope names, by the way. Besides a good name, it's a horrible level to get the gems on, that is. You need to go by the death route, make your way to the end of the level, getting the boxes, and you need the specific enemy right here to bounce back up, backtracking to the death route. Otherwise, you can't make this jump. Finally, after multiple attempts, you get to the death route and get those gems and swear you'll never do this stage again. Also, because the bonus stage is garbage too. It requires you to make super tight jumps over nitro. Like, super close. Like, I've died multiple times at this part. But at that point, I just get an Aku to sacrifice just to get rid of that nitro in that one specific spot of the bonus stage. Just to keep moving on. Now, the levels like these in general look pretty cool. Pretty accurate representation of Cortex, with it being mechanical and having his robot minions everywhere. Then we have another level trope that was improved in this, which was the jetpack stages. Now, I don't know why, but I keep missing one box in one of these stages. I don't know why. I never do, so maybe I was just rushing these levels. They aren't good or bad, they just exist. I'd rather they not be there and we'd have more platforming levels, but I guess we're just stuck with them, so I guess we can make the best of it. A level trope I mentioned earlier, being dark levels, technically starts here, if you didn't get to the bonus route. So here, the difficulty is a bit up, but it won't be too hard if you keep moving. If you have your brightness up, you should be able to see in the dark a bit better, so not having a light is more of an inconvenience than anything. Though this is the PC version, I don't know if the lighting is any better or worse compared to the console versions. After taking care of the last level, you'll be confronted by Cortex one last time, and basically you need to chase him down to get the Master Crystal that he holds. And this boss is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. It's so easy, especially with the improved controls, just chase him, hit him 3 times when the game lets you, and before you know it, the boss is over with. Pretty quickly, we cut to Crash and Coco on Earth, just chilling out, and she just talks out loud wondering what will happen to the space station being up there. That's to be solved with the 100% ending. To get that in this, you just need to get all 42 gems and 25 crystals, and go past Tier 5 going up, and you will get a cutscene ending the game on a good note. Well guys, that's all I have to say about Crash 2 for today. I'll leave you with this cutscene, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.
We are ready, Crash. Would you like to do the honors?